If I remember right, I was at a street side saloon at the time it went down. Oh, you were getting drunk. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Yo, what is good, y'all? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are back with another Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney video, and of course we are on the final episode here, which is Rise from the Ashes. We are on day 3, where we are prior to the trial happening, are going back probably into investigation. So let's see what's about to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Are you about to ride with me? It's called the trial ladder. The court will now reconvene. Oh, that's right. Never mind. This is not after the trial. This is just a recess. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Okay, this is Jake Marshall, so we get to hear his testimony now. And I want to see what he has to say, because if we press him, we're probably going to get some decent information out of him. So, witness, please state your name and occupation. Like, bro, put the bottle down. And why, again, are we allowing somebody to come into the court of law with anything other than just their testimony? I am looking in his hands right now and seeing probably an empty bottle of what was probably full of tequila or some sort of liquor. Actually, is it? Because you always look like you're somewhat put together. So I don't know, bro. Is it just apple juice? Is it just for show? Oh, brother. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly across intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. Okay. Oh my gosh, as for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. I wish I could gas myself as much as this wannabe Westworld ass dude does, bro. Like, could you imagine how mentally stable everyone would be if they could give themselves props like he does? Like, you know, and he gets his own theme song too. Like, this is what I'm talking about when I say that he's a phony. It's like, who's carrying that speaker around giving him all of these like Western themes, and who's refilling his bottle? Because I know he's sipping heavy on that, taking gulps. That thing is not bigger than a pint. You cannot confuse me, sir. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind. I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. Do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Get this man out of my courtroom. Maybe it's best if we get on with this quickly, right? I need a recess, another one, already. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. And look, he gonna take that literally, and then he gonna start talking like King James III. Ye old Marshall was in the evidence room 14 minutes prior to the clock starts 9. Like, bro. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by... It ain't your style, but that's what you're getting paid for. Like, what? Who hired him? Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Yeah, and he has a knife. He has a weapon. He has booze. What's missing? What's missing? An actual crime committed. And then he's off to jail, bro. And he's dissing the judge right in front of his face. But if I get one word of my testimony wrong, bro, you best believe that little health indicator up there, boof, gone. Like, this dude should have been lost all of his health. He should have been had to reload about 6 times with this attitude. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yeah, well, what about the fingerprint activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint activated logs. What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses, now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Oh yeah, I'm about to grill this fool, bro. I'm about to make him wish he was living back in the Wild Western days where he could just run his mouth. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. Oh, go back. They said I was supposed to make rounds on the bank my style. Okay, let's press him on this because I want to know what his style is then. Like, you tell me what your style is. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? You ain't heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my damn style. I'm afraid I don't understand. Yeah, because you just said that you don't make 3 rounds, but you still had to make 1 round because that's your job. No, Desperado, I know lets rules get in his way. Oh, no, Desperado, I know lets rules get in his way. No, Desperados, I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime. Just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner, I can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? That's what I'm saying. He's got to have some nasty dirt on the police chief. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. I mean, we already kind of went through this a little bit, but let's run it back. You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. You mean back when you were a competent fool? You can't fool me. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism? Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem like this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? If I remember right, I was at a street side saloon at the time it went down. Oh, you were getting drunk. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat the parlor's Van Gogh's sepia pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties? The more I know about this guy, the more I want to be like, bro, I must be the best. I must be the best defense attorney ever. Edgeworth must be the best prosecuting attorney ever. And Von Karma must have been the best of the best in terms of morality, because there is a low bar that this guy is setting, and we are clearing that with colors. You abandon your police duties to eat some noodles. Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. And Judge, what are you trying to do? What lesson do you think he has learned here, bro? That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, did you not want to raise this year? Curious. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. Okay. Out of ammo? Officer Marshall? That's right, partner. Or as you call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my damn time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. Like, bro, it's already 7 o'clock. You already missed the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the evidence doesn't seem to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card in my sleeve, so I best keep my cool. Before I use it though, I better up the ante. So we need to press him on this first statement because we didn't really get a full picture. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings. You interred them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic. Damn it, I hit the right. I'll have to see that in post. They said I was supposed to make rounds 2 times a day in my style. Alright. All right, so let's look through here real quick. So we have evidence room floor plans, yada yada. We have Goodman's report. So I want to ask him. Hold on, wait. Go back. I want to press him on him not being in there. So if you were there street side at a parlor or whatever, how come we have your fingerprints? Well, maybe that's not the Oh wait, yeah, let's check these. Incident number SL9 closed. Perpetrator Joe Dark. Crime serial murder sentence death. Victims: Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, Neil Marshall. Head prosecutor, trial data, head prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Witnesses: Lana Skye, Emma Skye. Investigation task force: executive investigators Damon Gant, Lana Skye. Okay, so the main investigators on those cases were these two. Head investigator was Bruce Goodman at the time, with other investigators such as Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. So yes, they are all included in this. So that's not going to come out yet. Okay, yeah, there we go. I was wondering, I was like, it's got to be the fingerprints. Caught you. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd that is you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. Gladly. Right? Head nod only. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or, to be exact, a handprint. Huh, listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. Excuse me? No, I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Yeah, let's get to the bottom of this. Witness, what is the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene. The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints? Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Okay, I mean, I'll hear him out, but it didn't take me long to see through his first testimony, so like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in the evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The blood stain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See? I had nothing to do with it. Yeah, the witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something, I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Yeah, and speaking of what he could be hiding, let's go through our evidence real quick. Yo, one thing is for sure kind of weird, is that he talks about how he's trying to cover up why his fingerprints would have been coinciding with that blood, right? My thing is that recovers fingerprints. My thing is that we already went through the whole, we went through the whole process of forensically, like, basically evaluating each of these fingerprints, and we know whose was whose. I just can't remember how we were able to discern whose was where. So I was thinking maybe Goodman, but at the same time, I don't know. Security camera only assigned detective prints can. I mean, the prints would probably be. I mean, the security video would probably be the deciding factor here. Dude, do I really have to watch this entire thing? I kind of just want to fast. Marshall's fingerprints were on this locker back here. They were not on this one over here, right? And he said that he's wearing gloves. I don't know. We have to go through it again. We'll go through the testimony. I just wanted to refresh my evidence. My knowledge of the evidence. Like I said, it's only natural my fingers be in that evidence room. He's just going to say because he works there, but that's because you, how did you put it? Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What do you mean? I mean what I said. Okay, so that locker right there. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently, his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Interesting. Found on a bloody handprint on Marshall's own locker. The print had been wiped. Okay. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. Okay. Press. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine. It's no mystery. Please explain. My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. Okay, but how can you be so sure of that? The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward for me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated, so this is gonna be where our contradiction is, I feel. Unrelated? They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. I know this dude did not just try that. One's got to do with breakfast while the other's a type of murder. He's right, although seemingly alike, they're totally different. This judge is so amazed at his old age that I want to cry for him. Like, I genuinely want to cry for him. Why? How is it that he's surprised by what any of these lunatics come in here saying? I am mind blown. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. That's what they're called, homonyms. Or you didn't know the murderer was wearing gloves. How can you be even certain about that? How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a blood stain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place the hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert, it's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't there, you can't say otherwise. So we just need to keep proving that the tape is incorrect. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? Yeah, let's see what he means by this. What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. Literally, the camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Yes, show the evidence. Oh my gosh, I don't think I actually have any. Yep, well, we already know where this is going. Save. Yep, save. You already know what time it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I have no clue what I'm doing, so we're just gonna pray we get it. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of Officer. Okay, of him being in this video? This handprint, maybe? Perhaps? I genuinely don't know, bro. I'm so cooked. I ain't gonna lie, I'm so cooked. Hold on, wait. Rewind. Low-key, his fingerprint's kind of like a woman's. But he definitely had a beard on, so it definitely was a man. Oh my gosh, I have health on the line. Dude, there has to be a right answer here. What was it that felt? Hold on a minute. The glove, right? And there's no light above his locker, so it definitely isn't him that walked it. And it's not him who... He doesn't have a locker unlocked. Okay. Next. Hold on, wait a minute. Let's see if that light cuts back on. Oh, there's more. Damn it. So it's either the glove or it's the handprint on the mascot. I think it's the handprint, bro. He would have to move that thing out of the way to get to his locker. Only thing is, he would need to have his evidence or his number shown on the report, and that just didn't happen. Okay. Maybe the glove? Oh my gosh, did I get it? There. How's that for evidence? Please allow me to apologize for my colleague, Your Honor. He gets carried away sometimes. Yes, well, this certainly isn't the first. Will you forgive him too, Officer Marshall? He's not a bad man. He's just a little disqualified. Of course. I'm not one to gun down unarmed boys. Oh, great. No. Yup. I should have seen that coming. Like, oh my gosh, bro. Wait, you mean to tell me it was the rag? As mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seeing this video. Exactly 8 words, not bad, partner. The key is that cloth in the locker. That locker with the white cloth sticking out, that was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Okay. What? He went around the back side of the camera? Oh, it's gone. Oh, the white cloth, it's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then, it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. So that was his locker. See, that's why I got messed up, bro. I was thinking his locker was behind the mascot. Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? Because, idiot, you still need your fingerprint to get into your locker. This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. Huh. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I'll call your bluff. You say I opened that locker, now prove it. Bro, what? Like, literally this, bro. Like, what are we talking about? A fingerprint sensor. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Yeah, let's hear it, bro. I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Okay. I can't believe it was the cloth. If I remembered whose locker was whose, it would have been way easier. Order! 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 Explain yourself, witness. If this ain't a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. Sorry. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you, this is no joke, Mr. Officer Marshall. Mr. Officer Marshall. I'm giving him respect now. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Ole! Please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure out the rest from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. I mean, yeah, if you look at it, there's plenty of room for them to go back behind. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet, Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right, the only possible conclusion. That Marshall was the killer. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Right here. Aw, crap. Officer Marshall was standing right here. So Officer Meekins didn't notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Meekins' warp theory. Your chamber's empty, partner. Better reload. Now they're ganging up on me. Perhaps you should think a little more about where Officer Marshall was. Officer Meekins should have seen him in the evidence room. Oh. I was thinking maybe he was the killer. Okay. There's only one possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Okay, so I'm pretty sure there's nowhere, it has to be the victim being the person that was allegedly killed. Because otherwise there's nowhere else he could be. Officer Marshall was standing right there. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in this video is Officer Marshall. It was you who dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at this crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on this ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say about this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective, unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall, this absolute bum, sitting here shaving his face in my courtroom, dressed up as the victim? Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take this desert heat. This can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. Aw, man. Mia's still giving me advice from beyond the grave. You'd love to see it. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it had been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker, which means he's hiding some of the evidence, according to the defense's argument. Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened up his own locker for some unknown reason. Right. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. Very well, let's take another look at the security tape. Let's go ahead and save another round of saves for this, because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. Alright, oh boy, I have no idea what I'm doing. Alright, I see, okay. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. Okay. The witness had to open his locker. There's a white cloth. He goes, closes that. And then Meekins comes. And he punches Meekins in the face. Meekins has a go at him. Maybe the glove? That's the only reason I can see why he would be opening that. Hold on a second. Is it because of the blood on him? Hold on a minute. Meekins didn't even have... Did he have Meekins blood on him? He had to shove that in there because of the blood. It makes literally no other sense why else he would have. It has to be the blood. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Hell yeah, let's go. Alright. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago. If you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. Alright. It seems the time has come. Alright, let's hear his confession. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room. Murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Okay. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's still one thing I don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Okay, well, yeah, let's press him on that, because what? Let's hear what he has to say about this. Like, why did you have to do it? When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I had anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only the case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why did he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed as him. I planned to take out the evidence. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card. I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out the lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could have because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck on the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Okay. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that time. Officer Meekins certainly is a one in a million type person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to show his own ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me, and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way, with me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and managed to escape. I know which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Okay. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. Bro, my earbuds. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Interesting. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID? Injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution, Edgeworth. Come on, bro. Find the plot. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one's mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? Why? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember that Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think is what his real reason is. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I better take another look at the files. You know why? I would assume because of this. Hold on, before we do that. Save. I'm assuming it's because of that, the case files. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file right here. The name, Marshall, is mentioned in here. And a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago. Okay. Your brother? He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Nah, I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed, and the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Okay. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Okay, I take back everything I've said about Marshall. Entirely valid. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yeah, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day, that is. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze me. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's got to be more than just that. So, if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was a real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached until yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye, and the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. I do! Correct? Now I'm crashing out. And this prick is bowing now again, bro. You might have to go back to the cringe voice. I rest my case. Alright, you still got respect. You just doing your job, I get it, but like, bro. It seems the trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. Nah, there's something else. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake, but I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for this verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Come on, we know what happened. Thank you. Emma!